So what if everything we think of as reality? What if it's just like the user interface, the graphics on a screen for a way more complex cosmic computer?
That's a fascinating way to put it. Like your body, your senses, they're the VR headset plugging you into this specific experience we call life on Earth.
Exactly. But then thinkers like Donald Hoffman, they suggest that this interface, it's just the surface, you know? Yeah. And consciousness itself is the real processor running the show underneath. Have you ever just stopped and wondered, like, what's actually beyond your own skin, beyond time, beyond what you see and touch every day?
It's a fundamental question, isn't it?
It really is. And, you know, stick with us through this whole deep dive, because I think what we uncover might genuinely surprise you.
And what if you could do more than just wonder? What if there's actually a way to move past those limits we perceive?
Move past them.
And not just watch the show, but to tap into the source code itself, the origin point of everything.
Okay, now you've got my attention.
Yeah, so today, we're going on a pretty extraordinary exploration. We're looking at consciousness, putting two really powerful practices side by side. Many people have heard of astral projection, and another potentially game-changing one, quantum journeying.
Quantum journeying, okay. But I get the sense there's even more to it.
Oh, definitely. Our, let's say, ultimate destination today is even deeper, more fundamental. We're going to explore this concept. It's called the black void.
The black void. That sounds profound, maybe a little intimidating.
It can sound that way, but think of it as a state of consciousness so pure, so absolute, that when you're in it, you're not just visiting the universe.
We become it.
We become the universe's awareness itself.
Yeah.
So if you've been following our previous dives, you know, into astral stuff or UFOs, interdimensional beings.
Those were fascinating.
Get ready. Right. Because this isn't just the next logical step. This could be, well, a quantum leap in how we understand everything. And actually, before we really jump into the deep end here, just a quick thought. If you've ever had an experience maybe feeling like you were out of your body, even for a second, or if just the idea of this black void, of touching that source, if that sparks something in you, a real curiosity, maybe give this a like. It just helps us, and honestly, the platform, know what kind of explorations really connect with you all.
Good point. Okay, so let's do it. Prepare to question, well, maybe everything about consciousness, reality.
The journey starts right now.
All right, so astral projection. A lot of people have heard the term, right? Maybe even tried it.
It's often seen as that first step, you know, beyond our day-to-day physical world. It's like this latent ability we all might have.
Latent ability. I like that. So it's the old idea of consciously, deliberately separating your perception, your awareness from your physical body.
Exactly. And then using that awareness to explore what's often called the astral plane.
The astral plane. What exactly is that based on descriptions?
Well, it's described as this really interesting dimension, almost woven from dreams, emotions, subtle energies, that kind of thing.
Okay, not physical matter then.
Right. And in that realm, the usual rules, time, space, they apparently work very differently. Right. People report meeting guides, traveling instantly, revisiting memories.
So a lot of potential there for self-discovery, healing. I know some projects like Astral Flow, they focus on this, right?
They do. It's seen as a powerful tool for understanding ourselves beyond just the physical body, exploring these non-physical realms consciously.
And it's not the final destination, maybe? I remember reading work by Isabella Green, the consciousness researcher.
Yes. Her work suggests the astral plane, while it feels huge, might have boundaries.
Boundaries, like what?
She described it as operating in a specific vibrational range, sort of, roughly between the 3.1 and 4.9 dimensional experience.
Dimensions. Okay, so not just length, width, height, time, but like layers of reality or experience.
Kind of like degrees of freedom or complexity. So the astral is beyond our 3D for sure, but maybe still within a certain band, an intermediary space.
And that means?
It means it's vibrant, teeming with different energies, different entities. Some are said to be helpful, benevolent, others maybe not so much.
So potential interference. Misleading information.
It's a possibility, especially for someone who's unprepared. It's like, imagine sailing this incredible, beautiful ocean, but it's got unpredictable currents, sudden storms, maybe even strange creatures you don't recognize. You need to be aware.
That's a great analogy. Okay. So what about mainstream science? Does any of this connect even slightly?
Well, science is, you know, generally cautious.
Yes.
But it's starting to touch the edges of this.
How so?
Studies on altered states of consciousness, whether through, say, certain substances like ketamine or very deep meditation, they show unique brain activity patterns.
Different from normal waking consciousness.
Absolutely. It seems the brain can tune into frequencies beyond just sensory input, accessing information, having experiences that don't really fit the standard physical model.
And specific brain waves are involved. I've heard about theta waves.
Exactly. Theta waves, the ones strong during REM sleep, dreaming, and deep meditation. They seem to be a potential gateway, a marker for this expanded perception.
But even those states, are they still maybe within that astral band you mentioned, not beyond it?
Some interpretations suggest yes,
right,
that even these profound altered states might still be operating within that dimensional sort of ceiling of the astral plane or realms very close to it.
Okay, so astral projection. It's amazing. It shows we're more than physical, but it's like a gateway.
A powerful gateway, yes.
But maybe that gateway just leads to a corridor, and there's another door at the end.
Interesting way to think about it.
Is there a way to go beyond the astral, beyond the currents, the entities, the potential interference, to reach a state where there's no separation, just pure being?
That's the core question, isn't it? Astral projection is that vital first cosmic step. But the real journey may be to the absolute heart of reality. That might need a different approach.
A quantum leap, like you said.
A quantum leap. And actually, speaking of reaching people with these ideas, if this whole exploration is resonating with you, if you're finding it engaging, taking a moment to leave a like, maybe drop a comment, it genuinely helps YouTube figure out what you're interested in. It'll start recommending more videos like this one to you.
Oh, right. The algorithm learns your taste.
Exactly. So it helps you discover more. And of course, subscribing, sharing this with friends who are also asking these big questions, that helps get these ideas out there.
Good reminders. Okay, so if astral projection is sailing that ocean, what's quantum journeying?
Quantum journeying.
Yeah.
It's fundamentally different.
Yeah.
It's not about leaving the body to explore somewhere else.
Oh, then what?
It's about diving inward, deep into the very essence of your own consciousness, transcending all those intermediate planes entirely.
Diving inward. How does that work? Is it like meditation?
It's inspired by some very ancient, very powerful practices. Think of advanced schools of Kriya Yoga, practices focused on energy control.
Kriya Yoga, I've heard of that. Kundalini energy.
Precisely. It uses that primordial life force energy, the Kundalini, not as a vehicle to travel astrally, but as the fuel to go beyond the astral altogether.
Wow. Okay, so where does this inward dive take you? What's the destination?
The destination isn't really a place. It's a state. The black void.
The black void again. Describe that state. What's it like compared to the astral plane?
Forget the landscapes, the entities of the astral. The black void, according to those who've touched it, like Isabella Green again.
Yeah.
It's absolute stillness.
Stillness.
The primordial silence before creation. Imagine the deepest, most velvety darkness. The not scary darkness. The darkness from which all light, all existence emerges.
Okay, that's hard to grasp.
It is. It's described as pure consciousness. No form, no time, no ego. It's the unified field before anything manifests.
The unified field, like in physics.
We'll get to the science parallels.
Yeah.
But in this state, you don't just perceive the source, the consciousness of the universe.
Yeah.
You merge with it. The illusion of being separate just dissolves. Temporarily, at least.
Merge with the source.
Yeah.
Dissolving separation. Okay. Now, the science link. You mentioned the quantum field.
Yes. Think about it. Quantum physics talks about this fundamental substrate of reality, right? Where everything exists only as pure potential, as possibilities, before observation collapses it into particles, into matter.
Right. The wave-particle duality, observer effect stuff.
Exactly. So the black void, could it be the direct subjective experience of that primordial field? Conscious access to the 0 point, the origin of everything?
Whoa, that's a big idea.
It is. And the reported benefits of even brief moments in this state are, well, transformative.
Like what?
No filters, no limits on perception. People claim access to instantaneous universal knowledge, a direct knowing of how reality works without needing intermediaries or interpretations.
Direct knowing. And you mentioned something about bypassing manipulators.
Yes, that's another intriguing aspect. The idea is that from this fundamental state, you might transcend the influence of entities or forces operating on those lower astral planes.
Like going straight to the CEO, bypassing middle management.
Kind of. Direct access to the control center, you might say, skipping the gatekeepers.
And the UFO connection.
Well, some anecdotal accounts, claims from alleged insiders familiar with UFO phenomena, they sometimes mention beings or intelligences operating from frequencies beyond the astral, suggesting they might access reality from this fundamental level, this black void or quantum field.
So understanding the black void could be key to understanding them.
Potentially, or at least interacting with other forms of cosmic life on a more fundamental level. It's speculative, of course, but fascinating.
It really is. This isn't new, though, is it? This idea of merging with the absolute.
Oh, not at all. Look at Eastern traditions. Hinduism, for instance. the state of samadhi.
Samadhi, yes. Total transcendence of the self, merging with the divine.
That's the ultimate goal in many yogic and meditative paths. It's what mystics across cultures have described in ecstatic states for centuries.
And even some scientists, right? Like David Bohm.
Exactly. Bohm's implicate order theory pointed towards this deeper underlying reality from which our explicit manifest universe unfolds.
So the black void, it's maybe not a new discovery, but a rediscovery, reframing an ancient truth using modern language like quantum physics and consciousness studies.
That's a very good way to look at it. It could be the point where the edge of science meets the depth of spirituality.
Okay, this sounds incredibly profound, maybe leaning more spiritual. But you mentioned science offers bridges.
Absolutely. It's not just metaphor. Quantum physics and neuroscience especially give us ways to think about this potential.
How so? Let's start with the quantum field again.
Okay. Remember John Wheeler, legendary physicist. He had this idea, it from bit.
It from bit, meaning?
Meaning the foundation of the universe isn't physical stuff, matter or energy. It's information. The bit, physical reality, the it, emerges from this underlying web of information.
The universe is information.
Wow. And if the universe is information at its core, and consciousness is what interacts with it, shapes perceived reality,
right?
The observer effect, then where does that primordial information live before it becomes reality? The black void could be the direct experience of that unified field of pure information, the source code itself.
Accessing the source code of the cosmos. Mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And how would we even do that? You mentioned Kundalini and neuroscience.
Right. So practices like Kundalini breathing, they're not just, woo-woo. They have real, measurable physiological effects.
Like what?
These intense breathing techniques, they strongly activate the autonomic nervous system. They stimulate the vagus nerve. They can change brain chemistry.
Okay.
And studies on very experienced meditators, especially those using energy-focused techniques, show really distinct brain activity. High-frequency gamma waves, for example.
Gamma waves. What are those linked to?
Peak performance, complex information processing, moments of deep insight, profound clarity, exactly the kinds of qualities people attribute to the black void experience.
So science is actually seeing that certain practices can shift the brain into radically different operating modes that might allow access to this.
It's pointing in that direction,
Yeah.
mapping how these practices might open doors to non-ordinary perception.
Fascinating. Now, let's layer in that UFO connection again. It's pretty provocative.
It is. These persistent accounts from people claiming inside knowledge, represented by names like Jake Barber, perhaps.
Right, representing a type of source.
They suggest some intelligences behind UFOs aren't just in our 3D space or even the 4D astral. They might be operating from way beyond that.
From that fundamental level, the black void or quantum field level.
That's the suggestion, accessing reality from its very foundation, if that's true.
Then quantum journeying isn't just self-discovery.
It could be a way to understand, maybe even connect with, these phenomena that currently baffle us, potentially leveling the cosmic playing field, so to speak.
Okay, but that raises a huge question. If this black void access is so fundamental, so powerful, why isn't it common knowledge? Why aren't we all doing it?
That's the big, almost conspiratorial question, isn't it?
Is it just really, really hard to do? Does it take decades of practice?
That could be part of it. These are advanced states. But is there also suppression?
Suppression. By who? Secret groups?
Yeah.
Or those cosmic entities themselves? Maybe they want us focused on lower dimensions.
It's a question that hangs in the air. We don't know. But it adds a certain urgency to exploring this potential, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Okay, we've talked concepts, theory, potential. How does someone actually start? Can you even begin to approach the black void practically?
Yes, you can. And the good news is there are techniques to start exploring this direction. We can actually share a simplified Kundalini breathing exercise right now, inspired by Kriya Yoga principles. It only takes about 5 minutes. The goal isn't instant enlightenment, obviously.
Manage expectations.
Exactly. The goal is to start awakening that internal energy, maybe raise your vibrational frequency a bit, and just get your consciousness used to the feeling of moving beyond constant thought, aiming for that stillness.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's walk through it.
Great. First, find a quiet spot. Sit comfortably, spine straight but relaxed. Chair, cushion, whatever works. Gently close your eyes.
Okay, done. Spine straight, eyes closed.
Step 1, preparation. This is about 1 minute. Just breathe normally, but deeply and calmly. Through the nose. Feel the breath. Fill your belly, then your chest.
Okay, deep, calm breaths.
And as you exhale, let go of any tension. Just fully arrive in this moment. Center yourself. About a minute of this.
Centering, relaxing. Okay, what's next?
Step 2, energizing breath. This is for about 2 minutes. Now we switch gears. It's more vigorous, but controlled breathing, all through the nose.
Vigorous.
Rapid, short inhale, maybe 1-2 seconds. Then immediately, a forceful exhale. Also 1-2 seconds. Use your belly muscles lightly on the exhale to push the air out.
Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale.
Rhythmically, yes. Find a steady rhythm. In, out, in, out. And as you do this, maybe visualize a bright light or energy starting at the base of your spine. And with each inhale, it moves up a little higher. Don't strain. Just keep a pace that feels energizing, but you can sustain for 2 minutes.
Okay. Visualizing energy rising, steady rhythm for 2 minutes. Got it. Then what?
Step 3, the dive into the void. This is maybe 10 seconds or a bit longer. Right after those 2 minutes, take one more deep, full inhale. Fill your lungs completely.
Yeah. Deep inhale.
Now hold the breath. Just retain it comfortably, no straining, maybe 10 seconds, maybe longer if it feels easy.
Holding the breath, and during that hold.
This is the key moment. In that stillness, imagine dissolving. Your body, your thoughts, your worries.
Yeah.
Just gently dissolving into an infinite, peaceful, velvety black space.
Dissolving into black stillness. Not trying to see anything.
No, focus on the feeling. Expansion. Quiet. No boundaries. Just for those few seconds of the breath hold.
Feeling the stillness. Okay, after the hold.
Step 4. Relaxation and observation. About 2 minutes. When you need to breathe out, do it gently. Then just return to normal, quiet breathing. Keep your eyes closed.
Just breathe normally again.
Yeah. And for the next minute or two, don't try to achieve anything. Don't analyze. Just observe. Notice any subtle feelings in your body, any shifts in your mind, any sense of peace or expansion or silence lingering.
Just witnessing without judgment.
Exactly. Witness whatever is there. That's the whole practice.
Wow. Okay, that sounds doable. Simple, but potent, maybe?
It can be. Done regularly, even this short practice starts to train your energy system, train your consciousness. It helps nudge that vibrational frequency upwards.
Which is key, according to the insiders and mystics, for getting beyond the astral noise.
That's the idea. It's like a warm-up for the bigger quantum journey, getting familiar with the territory of inner stillness.
And if people find this resonates, if they want more practices like this?
Well, if you enjoy this and want to explore more ways to work with energy and consciousness, definitely check out our full Astral Flow guide. We go into more depth on various techniques there.
Good to know. Okay, so let's recap the big picture here.
Yeah, let's bring it together. We've seen astral projection as this powerful, but maybe initial step, a gateway.
Right, exploring adjacent realms.
But quantum journeying, using that inner vital energy, seems to offer a more direct route to something way more fundamental, the black void.
That state of absolute stillness, where science and spirituality seem to meet.
Exactly. Pointing towards the ultimate source, the true nature of reality, the big takeaway, your consciousness. It's probably not stuck in your head or even limited to the astral plane.
It's potentially limitless.
That's the profound implication.
Incredible. So if this whole exploration, this deep dive, has struck a chord with you listening, if you feel that pull towards exploring your own consciousness,
let us know. Give us a like. It really does help us see what connects.
Definitely. And subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell too, honestly, because we've got more cosmic secrets coming up you won't want to miss.
And please share this video. Share it with your friends, family, anyone you know who's also a truth seeker, asking the big questions.
Yeah, spread the curiosity. And drop a comment below. We genuinely want to hear from you. Have you had any weird experiences, out-of-body stuff?
What draws you to this idea of the black void? What part resonates most?
And how do you think understanding consciousness on this level, how could that actually change our world, our reality?
We'd love to read your thoughts on that.
Absolutely. Remember, the real transformation comes from practice. So if this sparks something, try the breathing technique, experiment.
Dedicate those few minutes, question things, share your insights, and breathe the infinite.
Well said. And if you want to go even deeper,
we do have that exclusive ebook covering both astral projection and quantum journeying in more detail. Lots more tips and practices in there for expanding consciousness.
Where can people find that?
The link is right there in the pinned comment and also in the description below the video. Easy to find.
Perfect. And don't go anywhere just yet.
That's right. You should see 2 videos appearing on your screen right about now. Click on one of those to continue your journey. Keep exploring self-knowledge. Keep discovering the cosmos.
There's so much more to uncover. Until our next exploration, just remember,
the greatest adventure isn't out there. It's right here, inside the infinite universe of your own consciousness.
See you next time. Farewell for now.